What's up everyone, this is your host Chrono here with another episode of Salt Shakers. This episode isn't your normal everyday event. BAM 10 just happened and I wanted to touch base with some of our local talents that participated in the event. Join me on this journey as we will be talking about the good, the hype, the upsets and a whole bunch of other stuff. So if this is something that's up your alley, don't go away. Okay Tom, time's running out. Let's go to the character selection screen. It's podcast time.
Welcome to the Super Salt Shaker Podcast. Chrono. Get ready for the next podcast.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Salt Shakers. Today I have Neal and Cornwillis. How's everything going, guys?
Yeah, good.
Oh my god, man, this is like so bad, man. I just, we were like halfway through the conversation, and then I just realized that I didn't press the record button. So, I'm sorry, that was my bad. But no, let's just start again. Let's just sort of recap as to what we were talking about. So, how's everything going, guys?
What were we talking about?
What were we talking about?
No, everything's good. Yeah.
Pretty much done everything.
Yeah, shush, man, shush. But as I was saying, before, as because with BAM going on,
we had a really good time at BAM.
Had a really good time at BAM, and you got to meet a lot of people, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, no, there were loads of people. You know, lots of the Melbourne guys.
Yeah.
I was just saying, actually, before we started doing the interview that you didn't record, that
are we just gonna keep this going? Is that what it is?
Yeah. No, like lots of the Melbourne guys were just like super hospitable and just really, really friendly.
You were talking about Gunmo, wasn't it? Yeah.
Did you meet Gunmo, Fergus, or?
So yeah. To be honest, I'm not good at putting like handles to faces, but I'm pretty sure I did.
Gunmo's his name. I think that's how you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it actually Gunmo?
Okay.
Wow, okay. I actually thought that was a handle.
No, it's his name. It's pronounced differently.
It was so funny because Gunmo plays on PC, right?
Yeah.
But one time he opted into our tournament, like our PC tournament.
Oh, yeah.
The sort of the fortnightly ones.
Yep.
And he was lagging out the half of the people that entered.
Oh,
so pretty much in the chat, everyone was like saying Lagmo. So I was just like, okay, you guys want to change it to Lagmo? Let's change it to Lagmo. So like it was like changing the brackets and everything. But no, it's actually good that you were telling me about like his hospitality. He was actually making sure that everyone was okay.
Well, it's like I got there a little bit early, right? So I got there on Tuesday night, and I was staying with my brother sort of out of town.
That was Glenn, isn't it?
Yeah. My brother.
Does he
Glenn.
still play?
No, not really.
Oh,
I mean,
that's such a shame.
We did play a tiny bit, but yeah, he plays different games now. He plays card games, plays Gwent and Hearthstone and stuff like that.
Oh, Hearthstone's all good.
Oh, he's kind of gone off. He's kind of gone off Hearthstone.
Oh no,
he did too much RNG.
Yeah,
but anyway.
Well, card games are always about the RNG.
Well, I don't know. Listen to him talk about this Gwent game. He says that's the new thing.
Oh, okay. Is it on PC or phone or anything?
It's on PC.
It's on PC. Okay.
Yeah, it's on PC and PS4.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
okay. Is it cross-platformable?
Pass. I don't actually know that much about it, but
okay.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Check it out. Yes. So sorry. Anyway, on with the story. So Gunmo messaged me like before I got to Melbourne and was like, "Hey man, you know that's awesome that you're coming over. Do you want to have some casuals on Wednesday night, have some dinner and stuff?" And he just introduced me to a few of the local guys like Ewan Brownman. He was one of the commentators and kind of big stick aficionados in the Melbourne scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up catching the same train home with him like pretty much every night, and we just always sort of talk about Tekken and esports and shit like that. And and then I got some games in with Tin Lee Min Ho, who's super good player. Like he's a killer. You know, so it was cool. It was cool that I got to play him actually outside of the tournament. You know, before everything got too crazy.
Yeah.
But and then seeing him beat Quidans was just like, oh, it was.
Yeah,
awesome.
I heard that was really high.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Because he's such a mellow dude, and he's kind of real chilled, and just, you know, he's really good, but he's just like, it looks like he's just really casual about it, but he knows heaps. You know,
he just knows the game,
knows the game really well. Plays with heaps of confidence, really good timing, all sorts of stuff. But the thing. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say the thing.
Oh, I was just gonna.
Yeah. No, you go.
Sorry, man. My audio is cutting out a bit actually, so it's kind of hard for me to hear. But what I was gonna say is that him and Kudan seem to have kind of similar-ish playstyles. When you watch that match with him using his paw against Kudan, they both just sort of had, I don't know, just sort of funky timing kind of playstyles, both just dashing each other's face, not doing much, and hanging around, random, wait for 2 seconds, then do a big death fist, like, just stuff like that, and it was really, actually awesome to watch those two.
Yeah.
That was super good.
That's the new thing. It used to be like, you know, kind of sidestepping at range 0, and, and like, down forward 2ing. I mean, that still happens. It's still really effective, but I think nowadays there's kind of a lot of just, dashing and timing and using less 10 frame and more kind of
big launcher,
slower moves.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of a random example. But anyway, the one thing I wanted to say about Gummo and kind of what made Bam so great as a tournament is that he was so much of like a liaison for the international players, especially the Korean players. It was like, you know, he was kind of like constantly helping them out. He's picking up dudes up from the airport, showing them around the city. You know, he was just kind of like the go-to guy if any of the local, like the TOs needed to say something to the Koreans, or if the Koreans,
he'll be there to translate.
If they weren't happy about something, or if they want, you know, or and just to kind of introduce them to people as well, to be the kind of go-between guy. He was just so good at that, and it was like that just made the tournament awesome. Made it awesome for the international.
So you're saying that he would be kind of like the MVP of the tournament there?
Oh man, there's so many MVPs. There's so many MVPs. He was kind of like, you know, he was awesome, but there's so many other people just like putting in crazy amounts of work. You know, it takes a village to.
It was really smoothly run, eh? That tournament was really smoothly run.
Okay, let me ask you guys this. With this tournament there, were there any delays or anything, or was everything mainly run on time? Or
it ran. I was just about to say that it ran 15 minutes over on day one.
Oh, that's not bad.
And then that was
it's not like you know, it's tournaments here in New Zealand where it's like runs 2 hours over.
No, they had they did have to play a lot of stuff off stream. Like they played some of Losers Top 8 off stream.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, some really good matches were off stream, which always kind of sucks. But actually, it was funny to see what was going on the screen, and then everyone was crowded around one setup in the back where, you know, some Aussie was playing a Korean or something like that, and it was just, you couldn't even see the screen because there was just too many people crowded around it, but no one was actually watching the match that was on the screen.
Yeah, it was like, I remember really specifically, it was like Saint versus Knee. Was it Saint versus, no it wasn't. It was Saint versus JDCR on stream, and I looked over and like the seats were like half full, but everybody was crowded around watching Naveed Chand NY versus Rangchu.
It's Rangchu,
yeah. And it was like you could not see
super hype, is it?
It was like you could see just kind of an eighth of the screen, sort of. You could see half a character in like an eighth of a helicopter.
Unless you sort of had to like stand up, like, you know, on like a chair or something.
Yeah, people were bringing in chairs. They totally had chairs there, and they were just trying to get an angle, and it was crazy actually.
Just bring like a step ladder with you to the tournament.
Yeah,
may as well. But yeah, I don't know. Some of the hypers matches happened off stream.
Yeah,
and actually, like we were saying before, well, the best thing about tournaments like that is the watching underdogs do well. You know, that gets the crowd going crazy. You know,
I guess that's the reason why, you know, you have people like the likes of, you know, in New Zealand, you have people the likes of, let's say, Hani Mohani. Like, he gets the crowd like behind him every single time. Especially like, I mean, he got them going last year in Red Zone Rumble. This year in Garden of Might, he was, you know, the big guy that everybody cheered for. It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
He's the hometown hero, and that's what it should be.
Who was the hometown?
It's kind of
who was the hometown hero over there? Do you think, Fergus?
over there. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I think everyone was behind Naveed mainly because he was the Aussie that went the furthest. But I guess when it came to the tournament, no one seemed to really be caring that much about which part of Australia or New Zealand you were from. It was more about whether or not you were an international player, and if you weren't, then everyone was cheering for you. You know?
Yeah.
Because you were by default an underdog.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, and you guys were also telling me about before when there's like a tournament going. When there's a match going on stream or when everyone's watching, you'll have the most hype moments.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about chimpanzee moments,
and
stuff like that.
Yeah, there was definitely a moment. I think it started when I think Aken was playing against somebody, and they were both down to 10% life.
Yeah.
It was just one of those classic Tekken clutch moments, and then the whole crowd somebody just starts going woo, 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 like a chimpanzee. And then the whole crowd just started doing it, and it must have been so.
Oh, that would have been viral.
So distracting, eh? But it was it was so hype. It was so funny.
I saw a meme
it just started screeching,
Yeah, I saw a meme before when they were doing that. So it's not chimpanzees. They had a picture of a goat.
Oh, really?
You know how they go, that kind of shit.
Yeah, so pretty much at the big tournaments, when it gets hype, everybody starts making animal noises.
Yeah. We also saw that one with JDCR versus Jamie Zazov
that
on
was
stream.
A good match.
And that was so funny because I watched that through avoiding the puddle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and oh my god, Aris just ripped a new one, just roasted Jamie when he did the 1+2.
Oh yeah,
He did that 1+2 out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that's a stoner move. What is he
totally
smoking?
But it's like sometimes you make moves like that, and sometimes you forget who you're playing against. You know, it's like you get when you get comfortable. It's like every so often you forget who you're playing against, and you're like,
yeah,
ooh, oops,
yeah.
We're probably looking at Dr. Mid-High, so he's not that good. He can't do it every time. Yeah, you lose. Totally.
Well, it's just I don't know. Jamie made a hard read on the sidestep. It's like the same. I did the same thing. I just made a couple of hard reads, and they turned out they were wrong. I lost the round in about 10 seconds. You know.
Yeah, that's the thing about what I find about any kind of game, like video games in general. I think that with video games, like how they're evolving and how it's turning into an esport. So you got the older generations that says, "I don't think it's an esport. I don't think it is a sport altogether." But you kind of turn around and you kind of wonder what their mindset is, because when they say it's not a sport or it's not really it shouldn't be in competition or anything like that. So you sort of look at them and you go, okay, well, chess, what's that?
They probably wouldn't say chess is a sport either, but
yeah, well, I mean, it's testing the brain.
It's the same crowd that would be like, "Oh, poker's not a sport. Oh, why is poker televised? Or why is whatever?"
Yeah,
it's the same
and
shit.
that's the thing. You're basically you're putting your mind and strategizing, or sort of reading what your opponent would be doing.
Yeah,
which is it's pretty much like a chess match.
Absolutely. Except a lot faster.
Yeah, a lot faster, more
but it
real
also
time.
tests your reactions and stuff as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, not just that. I mean, your reactions under heavy pressure.
Yeah. And I think it's something that's going to become more relevant now because I think people are not just starting to realise, but they are realising that there's a lot of money in games.
Yeah.
There's the crowds and stuff you get for things like League of Legends and other really big games. They rival things like baseball pretty well. And so what that means is that, they're even considering having it for the Olympics. And that's just going to suddenly make this really adversarial where, certain people will be really anti that kind of thing. And it's like, it's not something that I feel like the fighting game community really wants. But it's going to happen. Like, those kind of conversations are going to happen because people realize that there's a hell of a lot of money to be made, which is kind of the driver, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it was funny. Actually, going back to the TWT thing last year when Thomas Cornwillis won it. He got interviewed on Radio Sport by this guy on News Talk ZB on Darcy Waldegrave.
Yeah.
Interviewed him, and I listened to the whole interview, and it was like. It was funny because you could tell that Darcy was kind of, you know, he's absolutely in the camp that, you know, it's only a sport if it's physical. You know, he's and so hearing him interview Thomas, it was really interesting because he'd done heaps of research. Like he's a professional, he's a radio host, you know, it's sports radio, and he'd done heaps of research, but it was still kind of like. You could tell it was hard for.
He was kind of biased about it.
No. I mean, you know, he gave it a fair interview, but you could tell that there was this sort of underlying thing where Thomas couldn't fully express himself, you know, because it was like he just wouldn't understand, or the general public wouldn't understand. Yeah, and that's kind of as big a barrier as anything. It's like you can be the best player in the world, but it's so hard to, you know, sell that sort of expertise to the general public.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing that you know, when the LPL tournament was happening, that was actually broadcast on Sky and everything. And with someone like you know, Chris he wouldn't be able to say 1-2 jab or anything like that. It's just like it's a jab. This is a down punch. Yeah. Or this is a launch.
Did they stipulate that, or did he just do it himself?
I think he did it himself. I mean, he's got a good head on his shoulder. Yeah. You know, just to say, okay, well, if I start talking the lingo,
Tekken lingo,
no one's going to understand me, and everyone's not going to have a good time.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, if you make it like sort of appealing to you know, to the crowd of casuals, or to a crowd that, you know, you're seeing two guys, or you're seeing two characters on the screen just beating the living shit out of each other. That's all it is. And you got to make that interesting, really. It's not like, you know, you can't just be like, oh no, that's 1-2. Oh no, that's 10 frames. You can't do that. Oh, you know,
I think that that's a really tough situation because there's no real middle ground. Because the players absolutely want to hear in-depth commentary. Like, Alchemist is an amazing commentator. Like, he's such an amazing commentator. He's so fast. He has the deepest knowledge of the game, and just being able to, recall things and say, oh, you know, that was optimal. That was really good. But also do it like he seemed like he'd really kind of come into his own listening to him commentate this time around. Yeah. But that's not the kind of commentary that people don't play the game want to hear. It's like it's just hard to listen to.
That's the thing, is that
you have to be a player to appreciate it.
Yeah, you need to have a player base to appreciate you know, the game and things like that. No matter how no matter how much you're trying to reach out to people and things, if they actually if they just say, oh, Tekken is good and everything, but all they do is button bash, you know, and things like that, then it's not really going to be good for, you know, the overall community.
Yeah,
the health of the game. Yeah. But I think you gotta realize that, like, the casual audiences and the gaming nerds are looking for different things. So, like, if you were a casual viewer and you were watching a Tekken match, you might think, oh, that guy did a cool punch, you know, and you're like I don't know, something like Kazumi's DF2, you know, that might look cool. It's got a big tiger in it. But if you're a Tekken player, what you want to see is, you know, someone doing really micro side steps, getting around, ducking under strings, you know, perfect punishment, stuff like that. But those two things are completely different. And crowds will depending on where you're from, you'll be wanting to see different things. So I think trying to find a way to marry those up is actually pretty difficult.
That's the reason why with commentary, what I think is that you always need to have two commentators, right? One needs to be the play-by-play guy with the the nerd knowledge of the game, and the other one just needs to be like a bloody Cyclops. Just give him a mic, and just let him go to town on that. Like, just get him to, like, just sort of metaphorically say stuff that doesn't make sense, but it's funny.
I think if you found two people with that kind of chemistry, you'd be really onto something. But I think it'd be hard to.
Well, that's why I
hard to
reckon
find.
that it would be so funny, like having James Chen and Cyclops in Evo.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that would be super funny. Which I need to contact James Chen. Like, it's been a while since I've actually said anything to him. It's probably forgotten about the podcast now.
Oh yeah, you should have.
I should actually
I
jump
think that
on
guy's
to
an
that.
interesting dude.
He is.
Yeah.
He's quite a nice guy.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Like, doesn't have a persona like a lot of people do on stream. Like, you have people with personas such as, Avoid the Puddle.
Yeah.
Eris, he's got a persona.
Yeah.
And, we were talking about it last night when me and Jamie, we were jamming Fortnite. And we were talking about Eris, and he's like, yeah, he's a dick on stream, but, like, in real life, he's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy, and he knows heaps.
He knows a lot.
Yeah.
He knows a lot. But the funny thing is, okay, I always thought that Eris was actually quite a big fella, like quite tall.
Yeah, he's not,
No, but I heard that he's only just a little bit taller than Jamie, and Jamie's not a big fella.
Yeah, no, because he was. I saw him, and I spoke to him briefly. I think I probably bummed a cigarette off him or whatever.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, he's a pretty short dude. I was surprised. But you know what else? You know what else is crazy?
Yeah.
Rip is super tall. Rip's like my height.
Oh yeah. You actually think that Rip? Yeah, I actually thought that Rip would be quite short.
I thought it would have been the other way around.
Yeah. So because I think that when I see Eris, he kind of reminds me of like Hagrid in a way, and Hagrid's a massive dude,
Yeah.
So,
And people automatically make the association.
Yeah. So as I was saying as before, there's got to be players that that you kind of look up to and that you're really really looking forward to meet. You did actually mention that that there was one person like Nobi, was it?
Oh yes, yeah. I really wish I'd been in Cornwillis' shoes and got to play again.
Played Nobi on stream. Yeah.
It
was.
Well, I wish I got. And actually, I converted to being a huge Dimebag fan after watching him play.
Yeah.
It's just just seeing like, because he's a character loyalist and I am too. It's like I respect I respect the very tip top players so much, but it's like the guys that I'm genuinely a fan of and I enjoy seeing do well are like sort of the sort of second tier players and the character specialists. Although I don't know if I'm a huge fan of any of the harangue players, to be frank.
So you
So you can edit that. You can edit that
just,
out. Though,
nah, man, I'm not going to edit anything out, man. Don't worry.
But yeah. Anyway, I wish because when I played, I would have had to play the loser of Dion and Dimebag, and I'd seen Dion play, and I was really hoping that Dion was going to beat him, so that I'd get to play Dimebag because he looked like a fun guy to play against. It's just kind of just sort of play a little bit loose and kind of come up against something interesting that I hadn't seen before.
He plays different to everyone else, really. So that's what we.
It's like I kind of knew I was going to lose either way, but I wanted a little bit of a different experience. But I don't know. That match is definitely really hype. Like the Dion vs Dimebag match in pools was crazy, and it came right down to the wire, and Dimebag took him out. Like
yeah.
Actually played really well. But
yeah. It's funny because in the sort of casuals that were going on at the after party, and Dion seemed to be just playing a bunch of international players, and he was beating the crap out of him. Like I think someone said he took JDCR 8-2 or 10-2 or something like that. Like he beat him really badly.
Yeah.
And I was watching it, and I was just like, man, why didn't this happen in the tournament? He was actually just destroying everyone.
Dion's a super.
I don't know what the difference is,
but he definitely. I mean, he said it himself. Like, because I played a bunch of casuals with Dion as well afterwards. Super friendly dude. He said he had to give a shout out to all the Wellington guys, especially Mike, Toothy, Takeoff Heaps, Peter. All those guys. He was just like, you got to say hi to me for me. But he's a super nice guy, and said that he he plays pure mind games. Like he will do kind of quite unconventional stuff, or stuff that would normally quite often be considered a bit weird in terms of move choices and risk taking. Like, you know, he'll take risks at weird times, but he just does it for it's pure mind games for him, you know. He said that he plays Geese just because of massive conversions, and he plays Jack because he's just solid and he can he's got freedom to, you know, mess with people's heads.
Yeah. It seems like he plays a really, really solid mind game, though.
Oh yeah,
when he plays, like, you know, those kind of things. And, you know, he did say that I think Dan Banter, who was meant to be here today, unfortunately can't make it, but he said that you know, in War, in Waikato Arena Rampage, he spoke with Dion, and Dion gave him all these pointers and things like that about what he needs to do in certain situations. I think that personally, that's a really hard way to learn, but whatever works for him and everything.
I think it depends. Normally you like hear those kinds of things and someone tells you about something you should be doing or some way you should be approaching something, and it's like you hear about it but you don't apply it to your game for, like, you know, months, and then suddenly you're in a situation you think, oh, that's right, that's what this person was talking about. For me, I can't, like, hear something, realize I should do something, and the next minute it takes me a long time.
Yeah, you and me, we're on the same boat there. I mean, you'll have people like Jamie Zazov, who would actually just say, oh, you should be doing this instead. That's really hard to adjust and everything. That's the reason why, I mean, for me, I've played Xiao Yu for about, 10 odd years. And the thing is that, like, I can't actually be good, I can't just pick up anyone else and just start using them. You know, it takes a lot of time for me to actually pick up someone. And especially, you know, when you have characters like Yoshimitsu, Xiao Yu, Lei, it's so hard to sort of use them because of their kit.
Unless it's Jack, everyone can play Jack.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's always going to be like a pocket Jack for everyone.
Yeah.
He's one of the few characters I felt like I could play just from watching enough streams that have him in it. It's like, oh yeah, I vaguely know how to play this character.
Yeah,
I can actually win some games without having even taken it into practice mode once.
Yeah,
that's kind of, I don't know. That's my only issue with Tekken is some characters are just, it's like they're too easy, so they become too common, but they're also, I don't know. I mean,
everyone's got like, a Jack, but they're different in a way.
At a higher level, and you know, in respect to the people that take Jack to the highest level, it's like he's not easy to win with. He's not easy to win with at that level. You know, he's a solid character, but he's not like, you know, Saint makes it look easy sometimes, but it's not. You know, you have to work your ass off. You have to work your ass off.
Yeah, in a high level of gameplay, you will not be able to. You will not be able to just get away with spamming down forward 2 because you know it's unsafe. You're gonna probably die.
You can't get away with spamming anything. I mean, you just, you know, it's like you don't. The only reason you just play mind games. You know, that's it. It's just like you do something in order to condition them to do something else. You know, and then you just have a solid sort of tool set that you can use to mix up your timing. That's kind of.
But you know, really decent mids, decent lows, and then that's pretty much it. And then you just mess with your timing and your move choice with each other. Just that's all you really need to do.
Yeah, so you
just
have
the better ones.
Yeah, as you were saying, you have like your you have your safe mids, some good highs, some good lows, and you know, what Fergus was saying is you apply that sort of differently. I guess that you're gonna have to play like sort of on a guessing game, on a guessing level with your opponent.
Okay. I finally thought of an example to use, but in the JDCR versus Nobi match, you see Nobi hit JDCR. JDCR did down 2, and Nobi hit him with while standing 2. That's a pure example of the new style. It was a read on JDCR's reaction to hitting it down 2, the while standing 2 from Nobi caught the delay, caught JDCR's sidestep, basically. Caught his delay sidestep. So it was just like, even though, why would you do an unsafe while standing launcher when you're on, you know, crouching on 0 frames, or like -1 on 0 crouching, and it's because he just made a read, and while standing 2 was the perfect move to catch JDCR's timing. And you saw the.
I'd be curious.
You saw him doing the
same
thing.
To hear the description.
You saw, it's like I had a similar situation where I started using like harangue down back 3, right? So it's a low and kind of similar, but -1 on block. So it's like you'll get your while standing move will get interrupted, basically. So the idea is that if you mix up your timing, you can stay crouching and beat whatever they're going to do to interrupt you.
Yeah.
And then the mind game becomes something completely different. It becomes way more than just paper, scissors, rock between, I'll crush this if they decide to do a, you know, frame perfect.
Is that like a pure guess, though, of
No.
what he did? Or do you think that was a solid read?
It's a solid read, and it's just like, you kind of just have to, I don't know. It's not a guess. It's not a guess because that's the way a lot of people play nowadays at a high level. It's like they don't do stuff on frames. It's like people don't frame trap as much anymore. Like they're just not as strong. So in a lot of those situations, you'll catch people just sidestep blocking, or just doing a delayed move. You know, delaying slightly so that they can catch that sidestep block, or they could, you know, at least force them to block it. Because it's like oftentimes if I do the classic string down back 3 while standing 4/4, you know, people will sidestep it and launch me, piece of cake. It's like, or they'll jab me out of it, you know, because I'm on minus. Or all sorts of things can happen, but by messing with the timing or just doing something different, you know, you can catch them out, and that's kind of how you break into the next layer of mind games, I guess.
And I'd say also that the delay kind of so if you did that with Damek 3 or whatever it was into while standing 4/4, if you delayed that while standing 4/4, what you're actually representing when the while standing 4/4 doesn't immediately come out is something else. It suggests that you're going to do something else, because otherwise why would you wait? And then you just do the while standing 4/4 anyway, and it's just those kind of things, you know, like every time you put yourself in a position and then you wait for a second, you're representing that you're going to do something else, and it just gets into the other person's head, or maybe they're going to do some big low here or some big mid or some kind of throw or something like that. You're just, every time you hesitate or you just stop and don't do anything, you're just representing another move and just trying to throw your opponent off. And I think that's something that a lot of New Zealand players aren't quite as good at yet. I think that's sort of timing generally is something that we're kind of weak at, and actually I think a lot of non-Korean players are quite weak at, so it's kind of cool to see something like that and know that there is sort of room for improvement, you know, like significant room for improvement and a complete change in your play style. But I'd also say that certain characters are better at it than others, and some of the top characters are characters that are really good at that, like Kazumi, Jack, Dragunov. They all, you know, benefit quite well from stuttering your movement and stuttering your attacks, but certain other characters like Hwoarang actually aren't, really, because you're locked into a stance so much of the time, you can't just delay things, otherwise you're going to get hit all the time.
Well,
so I think it's just,
yeah, I mean, it's kind of, you can, but you're taking a risk. It's like, for using the Kazumi example, or the Mishimas too, it's like you can go, jab, and then 1/1 to catch the sidestep, and you get the delay perfectly. It'll catch the sidestep, but if you do it full speed, they sidestep it. So that's kind of delaying in a nutshell, you know, in terms of working with your timing in the most basic sense. So I guess with the harangue example, it's like if you jab into Flamingo, you can frame trap them, which they're not gonna buy a frame trap. It's like these players probably play harangue. They've seen that shit a million times. But if you delay it, trying to catch the sidestep, or you delay kind of just mix up your timing. But in saying that, he just can't do it as safely as some people. Using the using the strings, at least. It's like he can do it with other stuff, but it's like using strings, it's like you'll get caught out.
So in a nutshell there, what you both are saying is that they play in a totally different sort of play style, which New Zealand, like, it just sort of, after you guys went to this tournament, you kind of see that New Zealand's kind of a bit behind in terms of movement and frame traps and things like that. I think there's a lot of kind of like lower mid-tier players in New Zealand, or people that are kind of just coming up, just learning the game, that still just don't. It comes down to match-up experience, and it's like they still do things based on whether or not they think the opponent's seen it before. They're still like, okay, I might catch him with this. It's like you might. That's the so
you
might
know,
is the
you know, it's like I'll do this crazy setup and it might work. You know, because they might not have seen it before. There's a lot. I think there's a lot of that. There's a lot of sort of, I'll do this, but chances are they don't realize just how good a lot of the higher level players are in terms of, their matchup experience.
So you kind of like have to sort of break the habit and just sort of play on the fly, really, or sort of adapt to their play methods. So sort of read what they're going to be doing.
Yeah,
and then you sort of come up with like sort of some countermeasures.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, you just like sometimes you have to play fast and frame perfect, and sometimes it works. Like if you need to, if you need to pull something out in the clutch, and you know that your opponent's just going to eat it, going to eat the frame trap, then do it. But it's like most of the time, if you're playing in a high level match, they know, they know you're going to follow up here, so. They're gonna mitigate it by playing as safe as possible. Yeah. Or doing something that's gonna, or making a hard read on you. Cool. So it's like you have to represent the frame, the plus frames a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, definitely. So Fergus, you just what Neal just said before. You actually played Nobi, is that right? Like in the tournament?
Yeah. So I played him. Would have been towards the end-ish of my pool, so it was on stream. And I remember just before I went on, I wish Dan was here actually, because I chatted to him like just as I was walking up, and he was like, "Don't respect his offense, and just get in his face." And he gave me a few other tips as well, and I was like, "Okay, fine." So I had this mindset going in, which was that I just wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't going to let him get away with just trying to bully me, because he's a really aggressive player and likes to just push his advantage on people. So he
likes to engage with running two, doesn't he?
Yeah, heaps of running two. But he played Fing against me actually for the first match.
Yep.
But yeah, so I was basically just trying to challenge him on pretty much everything. Always trying to go for counter hits and using Yoshi's down 4, which is a really good defensive tool as well, and Flash. And the first match went his way. He got the better of me. I got the first round, but he got the first match. And then the next one, what actually happened in the next one is that we were going pretty even. I was starting to get sort of a feel for his timing, because he's, unlike the Korean players, he's actually not as much of a timing player. He's more just get in your face and try and rush you down. But there's this one moment where he went in with things quarter circle forward 1, which is the big sort of low headbutt. And I hit him with Yoshi's Rage Art Flash. And just when I did that, I just kind of realized that, I don't know, that these are just players, and you can, and they're actually quite beatable, even though you sort of go into the match thinking, oh crap, there's no way I'm going to win. For me, at that point, I actually just felt 100% confident, and that, I actually could beat it. And so I ended up taking that game. And then the last game, he switched to Dragunov, which is what I've been waiting for, to be honest. And Dragunov's a character that I've probably got more experience against than any other character.
Your best friend plays Dragunov, doesn't he?
Exactly, yeah. So I've got heaps of experience against him, and so I was actually quite happy with that. And it was going really well. I sidestepped a bunch of his running 2s and launched with the back and stuff, and it was going really well. But he ended up just clutching me out at the end, because I hate to say the reason I lost, but the reason I lost is because I sidestepped the wrong way on his last running 2. I went right, and I probably should have gone left, but it's. I think the real reason I lost is because he was a better player than me. But other than that, it was just awesome. It was so much fun.
So was it actually in that last match? Was it actually 2-3?
Yeah.
Like, did it get down to the wire? Did it?
it got down to the very wire. He was. I think if I'd launched him, I would have killed him and won it.
Man, imagine that.
He just.
Imagine that. Like, that would have been so... That would have been insane. That would have blown my mind. Like, it would have been like another... It would have been another, like, Zazov and Saint moment.
I tell you what. There were a lot of really hype moments like that, and there were a lot of upsets and a lot of kind of just really close calls for those international players early on. But at the end of the day, it was 7 Koreans and Nobi. in top 8, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
Right, thanks for that. There's still more to come after this. We're going on our first break, so don't go away, guys. We'll be right back. And we're back, guys. So Neal, tell us, during that during the whole tournament there, you caught up with Tasty Steve?
Oh yeah, I caught up with Tasty Steve a little bit.
And he was like, he sort of warmed up to you at the end, didn't he?
Yeah. He's a really nice guy. You know, yeah. I think we went out, and it was I was just going out for a cigarette, but Laurie was there, and the Aussie guy Rame, he's one of the commentators and stuff, and Laurie was like, hey Neal, come over here, and Tasty Steve came out, and then he was just talking about, you know, he's like, oh, you're from New Zealand, you know, and was like, he actually really wanted to come to New Zealand, but kind of a little bit outside of fighting games, just to do the tourist thing.
He's kind of like Wooly Wools. You remember Wooly Wools?
Oh yeah, you know, I'm a fan of his,
he loves doing the haka. Like, I've never seen a African American be so passionate about the haka.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? You know, have you seen that video where it was like, you know, Macau, Drax, and everyone, they were just like, you know, doing the haka with him, teaching him how to do the haka and Mega Win?
I haven't actually.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was unreal.
That's awesome.
It was insane. It was great.
But yeah, Tasty Steve said he wanted to come down here at some point.
Yeah, speaking of...
I think if we'd had Tekken World Tour tournaments, I think if we'd gotten one, even just for Southern Cross, we definitely would have had heaps of them coming down, because I think New Zealand's one of those places that everyone really wants to go.
Yeah.
But you've got to have a reason, you know, because it's so out of the way and it's so expensive.
That's right. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Well, it's just something just to embrace the culture, really. I mean, it's different.
Yeah,
It's
I talked
different.
to Dimeback too, and he said he wanted to come to New Zealand. You know, but it depends on whether he comes for Tekken or whether he comes for a holiday. But Yeah, you know, it's like everybody wants to come here, but it's expensive and it's a long way away.
Well, even Justin Wong himself wanted to come.
Oh,
Because he said that like there's a Pokemon that that he wants to catch that's only available in New Zealand, so he wants to complete his Pokedex.
God. It's a really pathetic reason to want to come to New Zealand.
So just to catch a Pokemon.
I don't know if it's as pathetic as wanting to come to New Zealand to go to Hobbiton, though.
That's true.
That's pretty. I don't know. I cringe at people saying that, or like the amount of tourists that come over here and go to Hobbiton.
People think it's great, but it's
it's alright. It's a movie set, or it's an old movie set. So
true.
Yeah. Meh.
But I actually want to ask you guys this one thing. So, did any of you guys see Tanukana? Yeah.
Yep.
Like, did you guys have a chat with her?
I didn't have a chat with her. She was just like constantly surrounded by
dudes.
a mob.
It was so funny because I'm one of the Aussie guys.
She didn't speak any English either.
Okay.
And it was like, I don't think she speaks much of any English. She thanked people after their matches in Japanese.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But she's
tiny though.
She's
absolutely
like,
tiny.
5 foot something.
Less than that.
Oh, come on now, 5 feet. You can't be like higher than 5 feet,
bro. Yeah, she looked like she weighs about 40 kgs.
Oh no. Yeah, it was so funny. Like on Facebook afterwards, like there's this one of the dudes was like saying, "Oh, you cannot wife the Tanukana." Like for all you thirsty guys out there, like it's already in her contract that she cannot have a boyfriend that plays fighting games, and
it's probably a good thing.
It is. It is.
It's probably I mean, for her, I think that would be.
Speaking
too
of
difficult.
female Tekken players, did you guys recently hear that Yu got signed up?
Yes, I did. I did actually just read that on
another Xiao Yu player. But the thing is that if you it's actually kind of good that they signed her up because it's actually is it UYU? So Imagine saying that.
OUUU.
Yeah, OUUU. So imagine saying that like 3 times straight. Like OUUU, OUUU. It sounds so weird.
I watched the first to 10 between her and Tanukana, and that was awesome.
It was clutch.
It
was
really
super clutch.
Yeah.
It was so funny because I asked Yiggs, like you know my relationship with Yiggs, like we're boys.
Oh yeah.
And
I do now.
Yeah. And he was like saying I was like, so do you think that you can beat Tanukana? He's like, yeah, no problem. But he ended up going like 1-2 against her.
What? Because they played their match it wasn't even a match. It was just her surrounded by a whole bunch of thirsty dudes, screaming "Go Yiggs!" basically.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, okay. And Fergus was playing like right behind them, so I was like, fuck, I'm gonna support my boy.
Yeah.
Don't worry about these bozos. But but yeah. Anyway, so it was like it was kind of weird. I think she was there. She always turned up like really late. Like she was just kind of the last of the Japanese players to arrive. Mm-hmm. She kind of turned up and then would play and then she'd take off and it was sort of like, I don't know. I can't tell whether she enjoys that or not, but whatever.
I feel like it must be exhausting for her just having all these nerds just following her around and wanting photos. I just feel like
sad. It's super sad though.
But it's not. Sorry, I was going to say it's not even that. It's like it's not even that she's a female. It's just that she's famous and she's a Xiao Yu player. And lots of people think that she's not that good.
Yeah.
There was so many people that were like, oh, Tanukana's alright, she plays super risky, It's like, she's pretty good.
Yeah.
She's maybe not at the top level of those Japanese guys, but it's like, she's still coming up.
She holds her own.
She's still young too. It's like, anyway, whatever, but it's like, I know that
people criticise a Xiao Yu player for playing risky. Like every Xiao Yu player plays risky.
Every young player plays risky.
Xiao Yu player right here, man. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Keep it down. Keep it down.
But yeah, I think that was kind of part of it too. It was like everybody wanted to play her.
It was so funny because like Yiggs was like, oh, I had lunch with her after that, and I'm like, oh yeah. Okay.
Well, he probably had a really different experience because he seemed like a good dude, and he's a really good Shadow U player, so they would have hit it off. But
it's such a shame that I wasn't able to go. I really wanted to meet her though.
Yeah.
Like that's the reason why I asked Jamie. It's like, Jamie, can you please take a selfie with Tanukami, like, and send it to me? Like, I was hoping that she'd do like the heart shape, like hand gesture.
Yeah.
Like that would be cool.
Yeah. Jamie got heaps of selfies. Heaps of selfies.
Yeah, no, he's a selfie god, man. That guy.
He did good.
He was pretty much. Who's that other Cammy player?
Valoran.
Yeah, Valoran. He was pretty much on Valoran's dick the whole time. And he even admitted that. He goes, yeah, I was sucking him off the whole weekend. It was great. and then pretty much, I think that in the game of Fortnite, I think that you can actually hear this on Jambo's stream. Jambo was like going, hey, Jamie, did you, your past life, were you a sword swallower? Did you swallow swords? And he goes, yeah, like swallowed Valorian's sword. It's like, oh my god, man, you guys, eh? Yeah, just that. Like, I think that Jamie like had a really good time, and I actually think that Dan had a really good time as well. Just because he got to meet a lot of. He's a young fella.
Yeah.
And he got to meet a lot of people that he looks up to.
Yeah.
And things like that. A lot of the Korean players.
Yeah. He told me he played some long sets with them too, which I think he really enjoyed. And I think
they're probably buzzing out as well because he's like half Korean. He doesn't look Korean at all.
But I think he was just. I think he will have improved a lot. I know that he. Who did he play against? He played a long set against Ulsan, I think. And lost, but kind of said he learned heaps. Said that it was just like it was close. But yeah, I don't know. Who else did he play? I can't remember. He played a lot.
He played a lot when I interview him again.
He played a lot of the local guys too.
Yeah,
ask him about playing those guys because I think I don't know if he was super happy about his
result.
His result.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was a little bit bummed out that he lost his first pools match.
Yeah.
Oh, did he get sent straight to losers at the get-go?
Oh no! But his first one on stream.
Oh,
like
okay.
The first loss that he got, I should say.
Who did he lose that against?
I think
Rick.
I think there's also a bit of pressure, right? Like for him, because I'd hate to go to another country based on qualifying for a tournament, because then there's suddenly pressure on you. And I kind of like just turning up to a tournament and be like, I think you get knocked out, who cares? But it's almost like there's suddenly a spotlight on you because people know that you got there from qualifying from another tournament, and therefore there's like pressure on you to perform and do well.
Yeah.
And, I'm notorious for choking in tournaments and like having real bad off days and stuff. So for me, that would just kind of ruin me. I'm gonna do that at all.
Yeah. It's funny though, because it's like, one other thing that was really cool was I got to play a bunch against Noroma, who was like, I'd known about. I watched a bunch of his matches, but he'd been off my radar a little bit. But man, he was a super friendly guy, and he was really fun to play against. He was like and really good.
Yeah,
man, he was good. Just really good conversions, and really just kind of. He played risky, but it was calculated, and it wasn't, it was aggressive, but then he could switch his style really quickly.
Yeah.
And I guess, we played like, I don't know, 10 games or something, just sort of before he had to start top 8.
Yeah.
And, because he was playing Dion, and then I went up and I was like, man, I've hardly played casuals against any of these guys. And so I just asked Dion, I was like, oh, hey man, can I jump on and have a set? And he was like, yeah, sure. And, the thing that struck me about him is just how much fun he was having. He couldn't have cared less if he lost to me. He'd lost to me a couple of times. He couldn't have given a shit. It was like
just having a good time.
He's just having a good time. He travels the world to play Tekken. He was super good.
Yeah, there's like not much ego really. I guess some people have like a lot of ego invested in the game and find that if they lose, like to someone that they shouldn't lose to, it's like challenging their self-worth. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, suddenly they're a worthless person.
I don't think that you could continue as a pro player if you were worried about that. That's kind of what struck me, is like, because you'd be, you know, fair enough, you could be bummed out by losing to whoever, but it's like, you got to expect as a pro player that when you go to tournaments, everybody's going to want a piece of you, and they're going to claim and celebrate the smallest little victory. It's going to be like, oh shit, you know, remember that time in like 2010 that I almost beat so and so. You know, there's all this stuff like that, and it's like,
I guess that, you know, in that kind of sense, you know,
have to kind of let that wash over you.
Yeah, the other person is like, you know, they're going to celebrate their 15 minutes of fame. But then, you know, you're just like, you know what? I'm going to body you, like, in the next game so hard.
Well, it's not
even that. But
it's not even that. It's like, you know, they're getting paid to play it. You know, they're just gonna have fun playing casuals. Casuals are casuals. And
well, it would be, you know, that would be the life. You know, just traveling the world, getting to see other players. You're not just playing the game. I mean, you are playing the game, but you're going to see the world, like, for what it's worth. You know, you're sort of going, I want to, like, check out places and stuff when I'm not on tournament, when I'm not playing at a tournament. You'd have to have a pretty good temperament, I think. I think that I think you've probably, I don't know if it happens as much in Tekken, because the fighting game community is pretty supportive overall, but we're think pretty laid back, to be honest, compared to a lot of the other games, like, you know, Overwatch, League of Legends. Hear about all the drama happening in the Overwatch there's League, just so much. But I mean, the point I'm making is that if you're traveling the world a lot and going to all these tournaments, who are, you know, they're kind of essentially people's, they're like locals for whatever country you're in. You know, whether you're in Australia or New Zealand or France or, you know, NorCal or wherever you are, it's like there's still going to be lots of punters turn up that just want a piece of you. You know.
Yeah.
And I reckon that would be hard to deal with. And there's gonna be like hundreds, thousands of people that will watch your games online and pick it apart. And unless you can just go, hey, you know what? Well, I don't give a shit about those guys. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Then, you know, you kind of haven't got what it takes.
Yeah. And, like, if you watch, like, any of the games as well, you're absolutely right. If there's, like, 4,000 people, there'll be, like, you know, a good chunk of it just talking shit, especially if it's you screwing up or, you know, messing something up that you otherwise might not. And you just gotta, like, not worry about that kind of stuff at all. And only worry, like, I try to only worry about my own criticism of my game, which is, you know, for me, I'm pretty critical of myself screwing up or doing something wrong, and that should all be really that matters at all. If you start worrying about what wins.
Yeah, you're not the only one that that thinks that, though. You know, like self-criticism and things like that. I guess it happens to everyone. It's just, I guess, how you take it, really.
Yeah, I think Neal's probably one of the worst. Neal's so hard.
I'm pretty. I am actually. I mean,
you roast yourself like mid-set.
Yeah, he does. I remember that time when in Rambats, it was just the Rambats, and I was up against him, and he just came off commentary, and and then I played against him, and then I beat him, and he was just like, oh my god, I hate this. He goes back to the commentary box like, oh no, you know, just grunting and stuff.
I know. I just, you know the worst thing about Tekken, like, completely. Oh hi.
Yeah.
Is drops, dropping stuff, or making a read that goes wrong. It's just like, you know, that's the worst thing to me, because it just makes you look like a fool half the time.
Yeah.
It's like some people can do that quite confidently.
Yeah.
So, you know, and just be like, oh, I'll just throw this, I'll just try it out, it's all good, and not worry about it. But I'm kind of the mindset that I hate taking risks and looking bad for not having them go right, and so, you know, so it does get to me.
So you're saying that that's why image kind of reflects on that, eh? Like, you know, you just want to sort of.
I want to. Yeah.
It is an important thing.
That's an important thing. I mean, that's why I could never play professionally. It's like I just don't think I could hack it. I mean, unless I first of all, I wouldn't be able to dedicate the time. Like, it's a crazy amount of time outside the game. It's a crazy amount of time working.
Do you think that you're actually scared of, like, you know, sort of people like thinking badly of you or something like that? Would that be like a kind of like a setback as well?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's because it is to do with, you know, it is to do with respect. Like, you know, I've been playing the game a long time. It's like I want people to, you know, respect what I'm doing, but at the same time, it's like I'm starting to care about that less and less.
Yeah,
and I think that at least when I first started, and when I first started doing really well, that mattered a lot more to me.
Yeah,
you know, so I sort of felt like I was a lot sort of fierier, and I really wanted to kind of, you know, protect myself, protect my position as a good, you know, good player. Quotation marks.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, so
I'd say that, like, one thing I would say, Neal, is that you don't ever take it out on anyone else. You know, like, you only ever flame yourself. It's like, okay, all right. As far as I've seen, I've never seen you. You know,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think when I was like I said, when I was younger, I used to be a lot fiery. Now I'm just It's like
I used to remember those. You know, those holes in the wall that you would punch.
I didn't even punch. I never punched a hole in the wall.
I'm kidding.
That's a lie.
But you know,
that might have been. I hope he's not listening now, but that might have been the other Dylan. Remember Dylan?
Yes. Oh my goodness, that guy had Tourette's, man.
Boy, yeah.
Like
Dion. Bad boy Dion was pretty bad too.
Yeah,
there were a lot of, but that was kind of the culture of it. There were a lot of people that would just pop off, and you know, the Korean guys were always super cool. You know,
they're always super chill, especially BG.
BG was always, and he still is. I mean, that's why I respect BG.
He's
so
probably
much.
like one of the nicest guys that I've ever met.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
totally.
In the Tekken community.
Yeah,
he's super cool.
Yeah.
Like, you won't have any other guys like BG. Anyway, let's move on. So, was there any kind of like sort of funny moments that you guys have experienced? You know, at BAM at the event.
When I got into the cage, and this was like for the team tournament. Sorry, when I got into the cage.
This is the New Zealand one, is it? The New Zealand team.
Yeah.
And
I was playing first up for some reason, and I'd just been outside with Tasty Steve. And I was just like, I got in there, and I had no idea who we were playing against. And those guys were like, oh yeah, go on, you gotta go play. And then I looked over, and their whole team came in, and so it was just me staring down all these dudes, and I was like, oh shit, who are these guys? And I was like, guys, come help. I was like freaking out. I was super nervous and super fucking thirsty too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
just dry mouth.
Fergus helped me out with a bottle of water, which I desperately needed.
Oh, water's always good, man. You gotta drink your water in the tournament.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. There was this time when there wasn't a lot of water. At the venue.
Oh, that sucks, man.
That was kind of tough, but it was like there was like a vending machine, and then you had to walk about 5 minutes all the way down the back. But or like and actually that was out of order, so you had to go even further. It was like this huge hilarious mission to go get water. But anyway, in the team tournament, I ended up beating this whole team, and then it turned out that they were like the nicest bunch of dudes. But I think like everyone was like popping off, and everyone was like, but I felt so kind of nervous and just like, oh man, I'm playing like shit, you know, the whole time. But yeah, so it's 5-0 the team. So that was kind of the funny moment for me. I didn't think I played super solidly or anything, but it was funny.
I think
it was funny.
The team tournament in general was really hilarious. You know, like I felt like when I finally got up to play as well, I just wanted to not screw around, but you know, everyone was sort of hype and enjoying the show, and it was like an exhibition match. It wasn't serious, so my whole thing was that I just wanted to just do kind of random shit and see what would happen. You know,
did you see the stream?
Fun, man.
Did you see the stream of it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I
good.
did.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
They had they had the commentators over the PA, and it's like, it was good. It was hype.
Yeah.
It was hype. It was a lot of fun.
So, is there any other moments like you guys had an after party, right? Did you guys end up going there?
Yeah, I think we were the New Zealand reps at the after party.
Oh, so what? No Jamie, no Jambo, no Chris.
Yeah, I think those guys had an early flight the next day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's sad because they never go to these drink ups. Like the only time that I've seen Jamie at a drink up was at War. That was the only time that he came.
Well, hopefully he comes more.
Yeah,
because
we need to get that guy drunk, man. Jamie would be so funny, I reckon.
I reckon that some of the best times I had, but at the after party.
Yeah,
just playing
about
games
that.
And it's just kind of just meeting people, having drinks.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of completely random people that weren't Tekken players.
Mm-hmm.
This Smash guy that was like wanted to be one of the presidents of Couch Warriors or something. Didn't even know his name, but he was a nice dude, and he was like, "Hey man, everyone was just super friendly." We met this girl who was just starting playing in from Adelaide, I think, played on a hitbox and was like kind of just getting into it, didn't enter or anything. And then who else? Played a set against Kolinov and got like absolutely bodied. Kolinov's a beast.
Yeah, but that guy's pretty good.
I think all of the time, I always have a good time at those events. And you don't.
Did any of the pro players get smashed?
Oh yeah, I can't remember whether we talked about this on live or not.
No, it wasn't. This was the unfortunate mishap.
Oh,
you screwed it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh yeah, so Saint got basically like peer pressured by a crowd of about 150 people. So it was pretty,
no.
I don't know, it was pretty packed in there.
Yeah.
To chug a pitcher of beer, basically a jug.
Yeah. A full jug. Like,
yeah.
Wow, okay.
Like sort of three glasses.
3 pints?
3 glasses worth. and it looked like a dark beer. It looked like a dark bitter beer too. Cause,
did he end up taking the whole thing?
Not at once.
Oh, okay.
Not at once. I mean, he went. It took him 3 or 4 goes, but
he was not enjoying it. I'm pretty sure that he would be pretty gone. I mean, can't really picture him as a drinker, really.
Oh no, I think those guys those guys seem to socialise really well. They're all drinking and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're all just having a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what was cool. It's just like everyone was pretty relaxed, and everyone was just playing some games, talking some shit, and
getting drunk,
drinking a few beers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Saint went home after that. I don't think he.
Yeah, I didn't see it after that.
I don't think he did so good.
No. So he chugged the beer.
Yeah.
And that face.
The whole crowd was going chug. Oh, the poor guy.
Yeah.
I gave him a glass of water like straight afterwards. I was like, oh man, I gotta get that guy a glass of water. And that was all I did. That was the only thing I had to do with Saint all weekend. But I think he appreciated it.
Jeez,
right at that moment.
The peer pressure was real. Was Laurie there?
Oh yeah, Laurie was there.
Man, I haven't seen that guy in so long. How's that guy doing?
He's doing good. He's working as a chef at the convention
Nice.
at the convention center at a different part of the venue.
I really like his stick. It's so funny looking.
Oh yeah,
it's so cool.
Yeah.
The one with like him with the tie and the New Zealand flag behind.
Yeah.
Oh
man, no, he's doing good, and it was really cool. It was really cool knowing him, or knowing somebody that kind of is like kind of connected within the community.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I was saying before with Gunmo.
Mm-hmm.
Just having a liaison that can introduce you around and show you the cool stuff and talk to you about the what's good locally.
Mm-hmm.
Having somebody like that for international players to come, that's kind of essential. I think that's going to make sure they have a good time and that. So Laurie was like that a little bit for
like
me.
A guide, really.
with with Melbourne and just meeting people, telling me about who's good and who's giving me the lore of the Melbourne scene a little bit. Laurie and actually,
what does he go by now? What, Timmy Flaps? Is it?
Timmy Flaps, yeah.
Oh,
Fuck, who knows?
That sounds so vulgar, man. Just hearing it, Timmy Flaps.
It's so him. It's so him.
I know.
It's so awesome.
It's funny.
But Laurie and actually Gunmo, and then this dude Brown Man, Yuvin, all really good hosts.
Yeah.
Laurie, Naveed, and Brown Man and Yuvin are all really good mates and play like pretty regularly offline.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to just kind of chat with those guys. Me and Yuvin caught the same train home every night, so it's like, we just sort of talk shit on the train about Tekken and the scene and esports and whatever.
Yeah.
It's good. It was a good time.
It seems like you guys really had a good time at BAM. And I definitely want to hear I definitely want to hear the story with the Salt Factory boys.
Oh yeah,
and that's coming up next.
Yeah, well they had, they would have had a different experience. Cornwillis and Fergus and I hung out a lot together
on that weekend, eh?
Yeah.
We
were kind of hanging out a lot together. We played a lot of casuals and kind of we were the only reps at the after party. So.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody had fun. Everybody let their hair down and just went nuts.
Totally. And the cool thing was just like we all got behind each other. I think it's like I sort of made sure I was there watching if any of the Kiwi players were playing. Apart from missing Jamie's Street Fighter matches, which I was kind of bummed about. But it's as far as Tekken's concerned, it was like. I had to get in there and watch anyone who was playing and just give them your full support. Give them my energy.
You
guys did say that every time when there's like a New Zealander on the stream or something, you'd be in the front row just cheering and screaming.
Yeah.
Just like what I said before, that when I was playing Fortnite on the Monday evening, Jamie came on Discord. He just like let himself into the voice chat, and he's like, "Hey, I'm back. Let's play." And but his voice was a lot more croaky, and I'm like, "Dude, are you alright? Are you catching a cold?" And he's just like, "Nah, man, I've just been screaming on the top of my lungs the whole weekend."
Yeah.
And then I think the next day his voice went back to normal. So
it was a good crowd. I mean, the crowd
was real high.
Crowd was
real
crazy.
high. Especially with those monkey sounds that you guys were talking about before. So I mean, my last question to you guys is, after experiencing, something like a big event like that in Australia, and so you can only imagine like what it would be like at Evo in Vegas. So, is there anything that you'd like to sort of bring back, to New Zealand and implement that in our tournaments? What would that be?
More skills.
More skills. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of, I was keen to go over there and just play some high level matches against people I hadn't played before. That's personally, but I mean in terms of the actual event, I reckon our events are really awesome. I don't think we quite get the same level of support that those guys do yet, but
I definitely want that.
I think that we've had awesome events in the past.
For me, like just from hearing your story, I just want the hype to come. Like just the screaming, the yelling, the roar, the sheer like noise that they make. Yeah, like that would be super awesome. And I hope that it's going to be like that in Southern Cross-Up, because I did hear that there was a few Aussie guys that are looking to come around to New Zealand for that event, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I think it should happen. Like we went over there, they should come over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Be the way it is.
Yeah,
but I think it's always easier to get a bit more hype when you've got just genuinely more people. Like there were big crowds there, big groups of people, and when it's just like sort of a handful of you watching and stuff, it's kind of hard to you can't force noise. Hype, it's gotta come naturally. And I think the tournaments we have are definitely like some really hype matches, but we just need to have more people coming along, more people supporting the scene.
So I would assume that just from the experience that you two have experienced in Melbourne, there will be a next time.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm considering OHN later this year, and I'd probably consider maybe Evo next year. But I definitely maybe want to travel a bit more and go to some more international tournaments, because I hadn't even been playing that much Tekken this year at all. I'd kind of taken a bit of a break, but it was cool to have a reason to get back into the game, sort of force myself to start trying to play again, because otherwise it's just, if you're just sitting online, like just sort of stagnating, playing ranked, it's not that motivating. But having a goal at the end is something that can really change the way you look at the game and you look at your own playstyle and stuff.
What about yourself, Neal?
Yeah, I'd love to go to Evo next year. It just it comes down to the timing of things a little bit for me, and just I've got other priorities as well, so I can't. I can play as much as I can play, but sometimes going away traveling is a little bit tricky, just for the timing of things, and it just depends.
Yeah.
I think I've always wanted to go to Evo, and so I definitely think that's going to happen. I don't think I can make it this year. I've got to save a bit more money first. But
for me, I won't be able to make it this year either, because I'm going to be a dad. So
congratulations!
So thank you. I mean, she's wife's just about. She's almost going to be dropping any moment now. So
is that right?
Yeah,
wow.
so it's actually it feels so weird, because back then we played Tekken 5 together, and we were little shits back then. But now, we're starting to do more adult things, making more adult decisions.
Yeah,
it's weird, man. But hopefully next year when the daughter grows up a little bit.
Is it a daughter?
Yeah, it's a girl. Yeah,
cool,
she's gonna. Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's gonna be different. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. I know that this is a returning moment for you, Fergus, but thanks for taking the time to debut and and talking about BAM and things like that. Now, before we go, guys, is there anything that you want to mention, on the podcast before we head off?
I'd like to plug Crash Gunner Capital next month.
Go on.
It's in 22nd, 23rd of June in Wellington. It's the second time the tournament's been run, and it should be really hype. I know we've got a bunch of people signed up so far, but if you're considering it, definitely come down. The Wellington crew will be very hospitable, I'm sure, and check it out and support the scene. Because to be honest, I'm guilty of not supporting this team that much this year, not as much as I should have been. But I'm going to be attending pretty much every event from now on to the end of the year. So come on down. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, man, I'm going to try to. I'm really keen.
Yeah. Anything you want to say, Neal?
Let me think. No.
It's like the iMash is coming back. It's like
I guess I really enjoyed it. I kind of thought that I was playing a lot of Tekken, and I was like, I'll go see how I do on this tournament, and I thought it was going to be, one of the last ones before I sort of would retire or would just kind of take a little step back. But in fact, the opposite's happened. I'm just more enthusiastic about
dived
playing.
in straight into it.
I've kind of it's brought back my love for the game a little bit more. It was kind of just getting outside of the online environment, outside of just lag and trash talking and that's just all the stuff that's bad about it. Has actually been amazingly refreshing and just makes me.
Tournaments are always like
more.
that. They do that to you. Because you get to meet so many people that have the same interest as you, and it's just a surreal moment. Really, it feels really, really good.
Yeah. So I mean that was kind of the thing. I went into it thinking, I'm just gonna play, and then when I'm done, I'm probably not gonna play as much. I'm gonna just quietly fade off and just kind of play a bit more casually. But now it's like I'm just I enjoy playing it even more.
Did you feel that kind of ignited a spark?
Totally, totally. I mean, I don't I wouldn't say that I've leveled up or anything majorly. It's like I still kind of
But the passion, like, you know,
But yeah,
you felt
yeah,
that
yeah.
there was something there.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching those matches live. You know, it's like when I'm going to be honest. It's like when I've watched another JDCR Saint final on, you know, at a tournament. It's like, oh yeah, you know, I'll watch a match or two, but I won't always stick around for the whole thing. But watching it live, or watching that style of play, and just, you know, seeing the dudes' faces, like,
you had to be there
when they walk up and when they come off, and, you know, during the game. That's, you know, you can't get that just from watching a stream. And, you know, and the whole thing with the pools, like, you miss so much, you know. So anyway, it was good. It was good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go home and play some Tekken now.
Well, anyways, guys, yeah, thank you so much for that, and thank you for everyone for tuning in. It's going to be good. Next episode, we will be having the Salt Factory Boys. So that consists of Jambo, Jamie, or Zazob, Chris, Tinkos, and Camzace.
Shout out.
Really good. Yep, shout outs for that. So definitely look forward to that, and yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks, guys.